so long it's like alchemy.
Come Debo. Who? Debo.
And finally, Day back in the lineup. After a setback and then having to really trust the new training staff, they kept telling him 1 more day, 2 more weeks, old Golden State Warrior fans. Draymond back in the lineup, back at Oracle against Karl Anthony Towns. And the question is, did he have his warm glass of milk before the game to kind of calm him down and subdue him? Or would he be the beast we all thought he would be? Let's get into it. Right away, the Warriors came in prepared. Looney came in prepared to shoot because Tibbs' defensive scheme, as they talked about during the telecast, is he's going to let certain guys shoot. He's going to, in fact, dare them. This guy, maybe not so much, splashes the early 3 ball. And you could feel the energy and the pep in the step of all the Warriors not only being back at home, but having Draymond back in the lineup. KD turns. That's nasty. There ain't nothing you could do. Look at Draymond's mind almost work faster than his body as he throws the ball ahead. He's got to catch up. And then watch Durant. You know he struggled in Milwaukee, and you could just see the tight, dialed-in, efficient release. What's everybody always like to say? The first game back from a long road trip is like a road game. Well, that didn't seem to be the case early on. They were dialed in. I have no doubt this time away was healthy for Draymond. Not only for his body, but for his mind. You can see he's reinvigorated. Another quick outlet pass, spin cycle. Okay, maybe it was a slow wash cycle, but Looney gets to the cup, surprising Taj. Now, the effort level has been decent the last few games ever since the losing streak, right? But Draymond, his energy level is contagious. And just like a Pro Bowl safety, it's just his presence that can cause the turnover. He doesn't necessarily need to pick the ball off, right? Clay joins the early 3-point barrage being put on here at Oracle. You can see the score 13-0, now 13-2. Jeff Teague, the kick out, Taj Gibson. Now, we all know Tibbs has his guys, quote unquote, right? I think sometimes he has too much belief in them. You see Taj finally knocked the 3 down. Looney's going to fire one and he airballs it. And here's the thing is we know he can make that, but is he willing to continue to shoot if he misses a couple? And Looney just doesn't have that confidence yet. And he may never have it, right? It's just not, he's not a natural shooter. Now they ice Taj in the corner, and that's a tough shot for him, right? And what I meant by Tibbs is his view, it may be a little skewed of the guys that he's been riding for so long. And then what do you know? Draymond, first shot, knocks it down. Let's take another look at it. He releases it on the way up, and that's the key. See how he lets it go before it reaches its apex? That's the key to Draymond refinding the stroke from downtown. Steph to KD, and just look at the upright efficiency, no wasted motion. Now, I was clowning Cat, and he came to play tonight. Look at him fight through the double team, and that's the huge difference. He doesn't have Butler on the weak side hollering for the ball on the double, and it just gives him more confidence to be dominant, more aggressive, this time with KD, and that's what you got to do with Cat. I think you got to crowd him. He doesn't like being crowded. If you let him take his time, he'll work you. Bell enters the game and immediately gets got by a Bugs Life Jeff Teague, who is very quiet, 3 points. He did have 11 assists. You just remember him in Indiana. He used to look for his a lot more often, and despite the hot start, you see Minnesota rallied back. Wiggins in transition, and if they played faster, it would really benefit Wig, but I don't think we're going to see that under Tibbs. So Golden State calls a timeout, and they may not all enjoy playing for Tibbs, but Taj, D. Rose, they've got enough guys in there to take on his personality of putting up a fight in games when they're getting rolled. There's Cat with the Sam Perkins-like release from behind the arc. Look at the hop, step, skip, finish. Taking a page out of D. Rose's book, and this is the problem with Towns. Watch him beat him. He has a dunk right there. Look at him hesitate and pull up for a soft baby hook along the baseline. I don't think we're ever going to see the physical dominance that we want to see out of Cat. And there was a drought here at the end of the first. As you see, stuck on 22, Jerebko finally takes the lid off the basket. And then Teague, like I said, 11 assists. That's a nice find to Gorgui Dieng. Now, talking about the Draymond impact, watch KD here. Draymond not even on the floor, but watch KD double help and contest, and it's just a contagious effort level. Like you see Draymond playing that hard, KD wants to play that hard, right? And then watch Steph put a little extra air under this pass. Why? So Jerebko gives it back to him in the corner for another one of these. Steph, you ain't slick. Now, most of you are probably aware of that 50-point night D. Rose had against the Lakers, but that wasn't just a flash in the pan. The dude is getting buckets. He's definitely comeback player of the year, or I don't know if you want to give him most improved. Look at head knock with the second unit, but Sean gets nailed for the moving screen. But this head knock, we'll talk more about the diversity in that as this game goes on. Then Clay, triple threat, it's wet. there's a blind spot in Klay's vision, and it's to the corners. You see Jerebko's wide open there, and that's the easiest pass to make, and instead it's a turnover and a hammer on the other side. Klay was 4 of 7 from downtown, but overall wasn't as efficient as you would maybe like him to be. And then Draymond, I think he can find a nice connection with McKinney because McKinney's a good cutter, obviously the bounce at the rim and can hit the corner threes. Look for those two to start connecting more and more as the season goes. Draymond draped all over D Rose. It didn't matter. The dude just wills the ball into the basket. Now here's Klay finding the corner shooter, but of course he's looking straight at him. It's just he doesn't have, peripheral vision to the corners, I should say. More D Rose. This time, this is vintage Rose, right? This is Bulls Rose, the irky-jerky step back, 21 points, 34 minutes off the bench. Dario Saric, part of the Jimmy Butler acquisition, rumbling and tumbling to the rim, and Jerebko lost him a couple times trying to give help, and here's another double finish for Towns. You got to be encouraged if you're Minnesota, right? He definitely looks better than earlier in the season than Steph. I'm not saying I don't like that shot, but I'm saying I'm not sure he would have taken that shot a year ago, right? He's definitely looking to score more this season, and hence you're seeing it in the numbers. Here he is, though, making the right basketball play, the tip and the outlet to McKinney with the soft finish. But I've just noticed several transition plays where in the past Steph would maybe look to give the ball up. He's not. There again, Jerebko falling asleep, and it's Sarge, and they were asking why he doesn't play more. Well, Tibbs doesn't like anybody uglier than him on his team. Those are facts. D Rose, big boys at the rim. The story was the three ball, and KD, very quiet 22 points, but he had 4 threes of his own. Only 15 shot attempts for Slim. Towns, though, ultra efficient. 31 points on 15 attempts. And if he's going to use his size, you've got to use your speed back at him. Draymond understanding this coast to coast and gets the nice roll. But to be honest, this wasn't the prettiest of games. There was 52 free throws attempted both ways. You see Draymond get a tip here on the ball. And that's why maybe the highlight's a little shorter. There was segments of this game that were just very ugly. And then Steph, scary moment. You don't want to see him go down like that. And then how many T-Wolves does it take to screw in a light bulb? 4 of them. But you see the time, 4 seconds left, and we get to see Draymond do Draymond-like things and allow Klay to do Klay-like things to end the half. Here's how you guard someone who you know is quicker than you. Watch how Draymond keeps his feet moving, right? Because it's much harder to stop and go. But if you're already moving, you can kind of neutralize some of the quickness by already being in motion. And then Taj Gibson, his nemesis in the block, who usually gets the best of him, stays physical and stays down. He said he wants that DPOY. Here's Steph getting an MVP-like call, right? That's an offensive foul. Let's call it what it is. But I just thought I'd point it out just because we never feel like Steph gets any MVP-like calls. Well, there was one. Towns gets called for the travel, and the T-Wolves got called for 4 traveling violations in the second half. If Draymond took the wonder lick, it'd be super high, right? As a quarterback, he just makes quick reads. Another quick read dime. Steph continues to bomb away. We shot 19 of 43 from downtown. Yeah, good luck with that. KD talked that shit. Something brought up by Nate Duncan on the Slater pod was KD not getting touches. Look at him tell Klay, you go. Go ahead, work. And Klay continues to work on his ISO game and gets the friendly bounce. So I don't think KD necessarily wanted to shoot that much in this game. Covington finally gets one to go, but Minnesota only shot 28% from downtown. And credit the Warriors defense, Draymond, KD, all these guys contesting things. And I don't really know how Minnesota stayed close. I guess it was Towns and his efficiency in the paint. More offensive rebounds, and there's baby hands Bell. Can't catch the laser beam at the basket. Get that boy some stickum. Here we go out in transition. Here's an example where I think Steph would have opted for the flip behind the back, but he wants the scoring title. Let's be clear. Steph wants that scoring title, and I think he's going to get it. D Rose continues to fight and explode to the cup. I show this play because Jerebko just causes carnage in the paint. Look at this, toppling over and just slamming into guys. He has no regard. And it's a physicality that's needed without David West or Zaza, right? Derrick Rose and Sean Livingston both grew up in Chicago, and when they were ISO'd on each other, there was a little bit of extra juice. D Rose with the freakish block on Livingston. Livingston right back up with the flip shot. So I thought it was cool to see those two go back and forth here early in the fourth. We've now grown accustomed to Jerebko contributing every night, but now you look at the stat sheet. How about 10, 8, and 5 for Repko off the bench? Klay, another one. Thing about all these three-point shots is there's not a whole lot for me to say about them, right? They are what they are. Now watch Looney here. Shout out my guy. We were talking about post play. You see how Looney waits for Towns to bump into him? He stands no chance. Looney's got to bump as Towns bumps. It's a timing thing. Steph, you know what it is. Now watch Headknock get deeper into its progressions here, because Steph doesn't want the shot coming off the screen. He doesn't want Looney rolling to the basket, so then he opts to KD for the pop, right? Doesn't get it to go, but lucky bounce and quick hands from Steph, and then it's not the dagger, it's the Jagger. 7th three of the game, 38 points, 6 assists, 7 boards. Now he's toying with Towns, and he is the most devastating offensive weapon in the game today. Here we go, though. This is what makes Steph great. Look, KD wants the ball. KD wants the ball, right? Steph doesn't give it to him. Look, he's commanding the offense like, hey, K wants a touch. K wants a touch, right? And so there's a foul here, and they're going to go into another variation, a personnel change with Headknock. And it's almost like a Kyle Shanahan scheme, right? Because there's so many different variations off of the same scheme. Now it's Draymond in the post. KD sets the screen, and then he pops out. Clay curls around. It's a dime at the cup. Endless possibilities, and it's going to be pick your poison for the opponent moving forward with a healthy roster as we dispose of the Timberwolves with a 3-point barrage on a Monday night, looking locked and loaded for this rematch with the Raptors Wednesday. You know I'm going to hit y'all with a live pregame for that one. But let's listen to Draymond here. He sounds a bit humbled and very appreciative to be back with this squad.
Well, Draymond, what kind of energy was coursing through you in this game, because you were communicating and owning the floor?
I was just excited to be back out there. I always want to bring what I bring to this team. That's communication, that's defense. Try to push the tempo a little bit, and I think, as I get my feet back under me, get my legs back under me, I'll continue to get better at it.
Was it seamless for you finding the rhythm?
It's seamless because I play with guys who makes it seamless. I don't have to come out and try to do too much. Just come out and be myself. So for that reason, it was seamless.
The guy said the Milwaukee game was the best defensive effort of the season. Did you see that continue tonight, that effort, consistency?
I think we were pretty good defensively. We gave up 108, but, overall, I think we were very good. Got to continue to get better. Our goal is, I think we rank like 19th or 20th in defense right now, middle of the pack or something. We need to get that, back in the top 5.
The Warriors have won 4 straight games. You guys are getting healthier. What do you feel building?
A run.
All right, 7.
I've been winning so long, it's like alchemy.